all gone, everything just ripped out. It's all just part of history now. To build a whole town in a year, that's a pretty good achievement. It is in my books anyway. This is an absolute cracker of a spot. This is just sensational. So yeah, awesome. We've been swimming in the dam with crocodiles. Perfect. It's funny, it actually works. Doesn't hold much, but it actually works. What a classic. So we're going to have a quick stop at another mine on the way to Julia Creek. But this mine is a little bit different. It's a little bit unique, this mine, but you'll have to wait until we get there to see why it's unique. And then tomorrow we are going to a very special little pub. I might give you a sneak peek at that, but everybody would have heard or would have seen this pub. Probably one of the most famous pubs in Australia. Anyway, we'll go and check out this mine and then hopefully find a waterhole La Savo for a swim, because she's 36 degrees again, so a swim would be good. So we are just heading down to the Mary Kathleen mine, and the Mary Kathleen mine is unique for a couple of reasons. One is it's the Mary Kathleen uranium mine, which was run by Rio Tinto from 1956 until 1953, and then they reopened it again in 74, and they actually closed it down in October 1982. And the other unique characteristic about this mine is that it had a whole town associated with it. They built a town to support all the miners and their families, and the town's gone. All the houses are gone, everything's gone. All that's left is all the footings. So we'll go and have a look at that as well. But I'm looking forward to going and seeing the old abandoned mine, that's for sure. I wonder if she's still radioactive. I'm sure they'd have signs up and wouldn't let you in if it was radioactive, wouldn't they? Did you bring your Geiger counter with you?
Yes, in the back.
All right,
the
let's get on.
Cows are alive. So.
Oh yeah, they've got cows. Wow. Some Black Angus down there. A couple of potholes on this road too, by the way. So pretty well, when they've abandoned this mine, they've just knocked down the houses and left the foundations. And here's foundation here of an old house, one of the old mining houses. They've just ripped everything out and left it. So these are all the old streets from the old town when it was here. Looks like it's a pretty big town. Some more foundations over there, more over there. Yeah, quite a lot. Absolutely amazing how many of these slabs are around. There's one there, there's another one just there, there's another one just there, there's another one just there. There must have been a fair few people down here. I'd love to know how many people were here. There must have been heaps. So let's go and have a look. So this was a Rio Tinto uranium mine, and it was mined from 1956 until 1963, and then between 64 and 75 the mine was placed in care and maintenance. Mary Kathleen became a town of fully furnished homes in quiet, empty suburbs. Only dozens of families remained. So by the time the second operation, the highways upgraded, school bus for secondary school travelled to Mount Isa. Over the years, Mary Kathleen achieved a considerable reputation as a lively, attractive community, a very pleasant place to live. So there was over 222 dwellings, 1,100 people made up mainly of families, but there was approximately 200 single men. And they had the police station, of course, general store, shops, lawn bowling club, golf course, tennis courts, a Olympic-sized swimming pool. And here's some great shots here. The old Mary Kathleen community store, the post office. What a gem. So this is the town square here, and that's the fountain over there. The fountain, and then over there was the general store, and then this was the cafeteria, quite a large size. So yeah, the old town centre here where all the shops and everything were, all gone, everything just ripped out. It's all just part of history now. So here's a little bit about the mine itself, which is always great to read these little boards. So there was a couple of prospectors that were from Mount Isa that were came out here looking for ore, and they had a lot of local knowledge, and they happened to have a Geiger counter with them because they knew there was uranium in the area, and their truck actually broke down. So it broke down because they had a loose lead on a spark plug apparently, and while they were trying to fix it, one of the guys, McConaughey, his name was, took the Geiger counter out of the truck, walking up the dry creek, and the instrument needle went off its scale. So that was how they found the uranium out here. So it commenced in 1956, and they produced in its first 5 years 4,080 tonnes of uranium oxide, which was trucked in 44-gallon drums to Cloncurry, then railed to Townsville and then shipped to England. So by 1963, the major part of their schedule was completed ahead of schedule. The contract with the United Kingdom Energy Authority was completed 1 year earlier than expected. So they basically just closed it down, and it was placed on care and on maintenance basis. But then they actually recommenced it in 1974 following Australian government investment and its approval for Rio Tinto to export uranium oxide to Japan, West Germany and United States power utilities. Another 4,800 tonnes of yellowcake was processed and shipped before the production ceased in October 1982. So there we go. The old Mary Kathleen mine, eh? Now a ghost town without any houses. So Sarah just made a very good point. The old Rio Tinto, they really looked after the miners and their families down here with all of the modern conveniences of the time. And then we sort of thought, well, back in the 50s, especially the 50s, they couldn't have fly in, fly out. So if they wanted to have happy campers in here mining, they had to provide them with all of the good facilities so the families would stay. Otherwise they'd just have a whole heap of blokes getting drunk all the time, I suppose. So good idea of management of Rio Tinto to set up a whole town around the uranium mine.
And didn't bulldoze any trees. The town was built around the trees. And that's what the sign said.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and another thing was that they auctioned off all the houses and buildings, and a lot of them are actually still in use in Mount Isa to this day. So they just relocated them. They didn't actually bulldoze them. So very interesting. So another interesting little fact which I didn't read was that they built a house every day one house per day, complete. And the whole town was built in 1 year. And when did they start building it? Like 1954, I think. So back in the mid-50s, to build a whole town in a year, that's a pretty good achievement, is in my books anyway. She's definitely rough. I hope it doesn't get any rougher than this, that's for sure. When they said 6Ks, I thought it'd be a quick trip in, but when you're doing 6S and you're doing 5 kilometres an hour, it's not that such a quick trip in. Yeah, this is an interesting little way to start our trip into the mine. It's pretty tight through here for the old Jayco. Pretty sure she'll make it though. Plenty of room. Heaps of room. Look at that. Zara driving like a professional. Listen to the squeaks. My goodness. The old road's getting pretty narrow. I hope there's somewhere for us to turn round. She's definitely been a rough trip in, that's for sure. Anyway, hopefully not too much longer. We can sort of see a bit of a hill in front of us, so that might be where we've got to go. Here's a nice little rough spot. Nothing the old Prado and the old Jayco can't handle. Look at that. Listen to the squeaks in that thing. My goodness me. Squeaky, 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 squeaky. And a brake by the sounds of things. So we've finally got into what we're hoping is the big pit. Looks like the big open cut mine. It was certainly a dodgy little track to get in here, that's for sure. Anyway, let's go. We'll start to see. This looks down here where they got in and out of the open cut, I think. And there's a big sign up there saying that potential hazards, do not swim. So I would say that would mean that perhaps the water up here may be a little bit radioactive. You can see up behind me there. You can see up there where the open cut mine. So let's have a little bit of a peek over here. Oh, there we go, look at that. Wow. Very cool. That is amazing. You better spin it round and you better take a peek, eh? You ready? Have a look at that. How cool is that? The old abandoned uranium mine. And this is what I was looking for. This is what I was looking for. The old pit. So we're heading to Julia Creek yesterday afternoon. After we went to Mary Kathleen Gorge, we saw a little sign that said Clem Walton Park. So it's like, oh. So I was like, yeah, that's supposed to be pretty good down there. So we went for a drive down to the old Clem Walton Park, see what we could see. And I tell you, this is an absolute cracker of a spot. This is just sensational. I reckon I better give you a look. Have a go at this joint. It is absolutely cracker. We're right on the side of the lake, Lake Corella. And this lake was actually built originally for water for the Mary Kathleen Dam. and now it provides water to Cloncurry, which is just a few k's east of where we are. But stocked with fish, so I might give it a go, see if I can catch a fish, which I probably can't. But we'll give it a go, have some nice brekkie here in a minute. Sit out under the awning and check out the morning sun. Absolute cracker, this one. So Lake Corella, just outside of Cloncurry. Definite must to come and stay here, that's for sure. She's a ripper. Ripper, Charlie. So as you can see, there's no one on our side here where we are. Got this little spot on this side of the lake to all ourselves. A couple of people on the other side, but there's stacks of room. And there's another little bay on the other side over there from what I looked at on the map. And then we've got a group down on the point down there, and you can load your boat straight off the edge here. No boat ramps, you just drive up to the edge, put her in, and off you go. Here's a nice fun little fact. It's just having a look at a few bits and bobs on the old interweb, and it's funny, you know, you sort of should think Queensland, Northern Territory, when you have bodies of water like this, what else do you usually have? Yep, crocodiles. And we did go for a swim yesterday. I'll probably go for another swim today anyway. But apparently there's been over 16 freshwater crocodiles sighted in this dam. And I was looking at wiki camps, and there's a photo of one like 12 days ago. A guy's taken a photo of a crocodile. So yeah, awesome. We've been swimming in the dam with crocodiles. Perfect. Oh well, I didn't get eaten, so that's a good thing, I guess. Not getting eaten's always good. So we've got the little tiny collapsible washing machine. Only good for a couple of pairs of undies and a couple of pairs of socks. But anyway, Sarah's got it going to give her hat a bit of a rinse. And she's got a few stains on it. So we'll see how it goes. It's funny, it actually works. Doesn't hold much, but it actually works. What a classic cheap little Chinese washing machine. And we're on the 15-minute cycle. But you do need 240 for it. So unless you got the old inverter going, you can't run on 12 volt. You might be able to. What's the old AC thing say here? Oh, it's on the inside. What is it? Output 12 volts. You could just plug that into a cigarette lighter. You could do that for sure. So we just whipped up the old damper, ready to go. Got that in a nice little ball. She should be a gem, and I've actually used soda water. Self-raising flour, bit of salt and soda water. See how it goes. Apparently the old soda water gives it a little bit more texture and makes it a bit more fluffy. So anyway, put it on the spun steel camp oven. Went for the spun steel because it's just a bit lighter than the old heavy duty cast iron jobbies. So we'll see how it goes. Just check out how the fire's going and then we'll get it on. So I've got a few coals going there, hopefully. A few more to catch up on. We'll get some out here. Oh, look at that. Yeah, we're looking good. The old camp oven on there. The old... Oh yeah, she's in there. You can't probably see it, but we'll have a look, see if we can see it. She's in there. Nope, can't see it. Anyway, it's in, and we'll get some coals on the top here. Might be a little bit close to the fire, but anyway. Oh, look at that. Now we're talking. So, time to check out Mr. Damper and see how she's looking. Oh my goodness. That is looking... Oh yeah, she's done. She is an absolute gem. Well, we have certainly woken up to a cracker of a morning this morning. She is absolutely magnificent. It's not a breath of wind. The old dam here is looking mighty sensational. Look at that. So we're having such a nice relaxing time here. We're going to try and stay for a few more days. And when I say try, it's because we've run out of gas. Got a brand new gas bottle there and it lasted a day for some reason. So I need to check it out and see what's going on, see why we've run out of gas. Hopefully we can get some gas in Cloncurry. So see how we go. I hope we can get it because I want to stay. Well, I reckon it's pretty safe to swim with freshwater crocs, but I don't know about you, it gives me the creeps. Feels very strange swimming in a place where you know there's crocodiles. But anyway, they haven't eaten anybody yet. There's nothing behind me, is there? Hope not. I might just have a look in case.
Well, unfortunately, it's time to go. Well, it's not really, but we're going to go. We could stay here for ages. So what, we're going to stay here for one night, and we stay 5.
5 lovely nights.
Absolutely cracker of a spot. Just brilliant. Corella Dam. Dam. Beautiful.
Charlie refused to go.
I wouldn't let Charlie go swimming in case he got eaten by a crocodile. Actually, we saw a bird get taken by a crocodile yesterday evening, just over the other side over there. So they do eat the birds. Anyway, have some brekkie. Nice cup of coffee out of the barista coffee machine. No instant stuff for us out here, that's for sure. Oh, yum. And then we'll head to Cloncurry, Julia Creek, and then we're going to a sneaky little spot, another little pub crawl, but I'm not going to tell you which pub it is. You're going to have to wait and see, because I'm looking forward to going to this one. We were going to go out there about 4 years ago, but we didn't make it. And now we're back out here, so making a special little trip to go and have a look at the old pub and see some familiar faces maybe. Drop in at Julia Creek and we'll go for a swim in the swimming pool. Yeah, and they've got water slides, can't wait, it's going to be great. Oh, it's shut. We've just driven out to Julia Creek for a swim and the pool's shut. We should have known, a small country town. Well, we have made it to this very iconic hotel. It's our place called McKinley, which is about halfway between Winton and Mount Isa. I'll give you a little hint here. There's a little hint behind me. Never Never Tours. Chasing the Min lights. We just stopped on the side of the road at this sign, and as I'm standing here talking to this camera, I can look straight across there and there's a kangaroo sitting in the shade of a tree. How about that?